being in here because you may just miss out otherwise on the talk that could change your life. Who knows? Who knows what that is? Who knows who it is? Who knows what they've got to say? Who knows how good a speaker they are? We just don't know any of these things. So before we go on, before we move on, has anybody got anything to say, anything to ask, comments, feedback, outrage, things that we should get rid of, things that we should add to it? Talk about yourself. Anybody got one of those? No is the answer. Okay, folks, well, without further ado, let's move on because I find this title intriguing. And apparently it's going to be provocative, there's going to be no nonsense, and it's going to be straight up. So without further ado, give a warm welcome to Alexander Zezelin.
I'm mic'd up. I have a mic.
Oh, you've got one?
Yeah. All right. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think so. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to this event. This is supposed to be very brief, so I will try to talk as fast as I can, and I'll try to do it as fast as possible. If you miss something, well, meet me somewhere during the event. My name is Alexander Zezelin. I'm working as a lead designer for the upcoming metaverse Elseverse, just announced, and you cannot see the logo because it's hidden from the screen here. I've been into game development for about 20 years and for way more as a hobbyist. And I was mostly working on free-to-play games, online games, massive multiplayer, as either manager or designer in both departments. I've been working in corporates like Wargaming or big companies like Crytek. I've been working in many startups. And recently I've started to look towards Web3, and I was very skeptical. And I'm still skeptical until now because of the state of the market and state of the industry. But during observation, while I was thinking about joining, not joining, and after I joined GameSpot, after I joined GameSpot as a designer, I was observing a lot of different companies entering Web3 space, especially startups. And I want to talk about some common issues that I found while looking at the market, at the development production, first of all. So what I want to talk today about is actually three issues. I want to talk about target audience and how we address it. I want to talk about production management in Web3 startups, and if we have time, a little bit about chasing brands and how can we do it from the perspective of game development. To start with, there's something really wrong with the placement of a presentation, but who cares? Let's start with the idea that the target audience of crypto startups, of Web3 startups, actually right now is mostly the audience that's already introduced somehow to the idea of crypto. The audience that knows what to do with NFTs, the audience that knows what to do with marketplaces, wallets, and so on and so on. What's good about it? Of course, this allowed us to raise the crowdfunding to the immense height. The crowdfunding in the gaming industry was never this big, this high, as we could see in the crypto industry. Guys, could you fix something about my presentation? Because this is definitely wrong. The problems of that is that since we are treating this audience as investors, and we are mostly talking to them as to investors, people who want to actually make money out of our games instead of enjoying our games, is that as soon as they're jumping off, everything is lost. We don't have any other audience to address. And this is one of the things that actually killing the market at the moment. Since we are, thanks a lot. Since we are working with the Crypto Bros audience, first of all, we are addressing in our messaging, in our product development, we are addressing needs of this audience. And this basically means we are not addressing the needs of gamers. And when the developer from the old world, like the guy like me, is saying, okay, I have a game, I'm working on a game, This usually means that I already have some game design, some art, some code, maybe demo, maybe early access, so I have a product. When a Web3 developer is saying I have a game or I'm working on a game, this usually means that I have a lot of materials prepared to present to the audience of crypto bros, of investors, but I don't have a game at all because they don't care about game. And why should I care about game if they don't? In the traditional gaming industry, especially in free-to-play, we've been usually talking about 3 big cohorts of the audience. And these 3 cohorts was casual or passerbys, core gamers, your bread and butter, people who are actually paying your checks, and super core audience. And it's very tempting. It's very tempting and really easy to monetize super core audience, people who are your super loyal fans, people who are your evangelists, people who are usually whales, so they have bigger checks, they are easily spending money on your product. But if you are monetizing them heavily, like we did in the beginning of the free-to-play era, then you are losing them after a while. Because what you should be doing with super core audience, with your super loyal fans, is using them as evangelists and community drivers. People who are actually driving economy, driving social dynamics, driving the content creation, and so on and so on, and monetizing on everyone else. And in my opinion, right now, the Web3 in general and Web3 gaming and metaverse, as an example, is in desperate need for these 2 additional and way bigger groups of users, people who could be core gamers or core customers and people who are just passerbys. But to get there, we need to start talking to them. Because why I mean, they actually need it. Because if you have these whales, if you have these people who are spending lots of money and you want to retain them within a product, you need to give them some kind of meaningful interactions with the product. Not just making money, spending money, making money, spending, buy land, sell land, buy token, sell token. This is not going to work in the long term. In the long term, what works is socialization of those people, community, and some kind of a meaningful game goals that could retain them within your product. So in fact, those 2 or 3 groups, gamers and investors, they need each other. They will contribute to each other's happiness and the long span of your product. But again, to get there, you need to give your investors, your evangelists, tools of actually interacting with the economy, with the community, actually contributing to the world building. And at the same time, you need to provide meaningful product and entertaining product to those who just want to entertain. They don't care about wallets. They don't want to go through know your customer procedure. They just want to play. And to allow them to play, you need to have a game. We are getting there. Right. So because of the problem I've mentioned before, because of the problem of Web3 developers actually not developing anything because their users are not actually looking for the developed product, they're looking for everything around it, the production management in Web3 companies is also, again, it comes from my observation. I'm not saying it's happening everywhere, but it's on a very low level. In game development in general, production management, project management, product management was quite bad. I mean, unless you are in a giant company, you would encounter a lot of problems and things that people just don't care about management, don't care about precise planning, don't care about processes, unless, again, they're very successful or their business in decline and they're desperately trying to save the situation. In Web3, well, I would say I've observed terrible examples of underestimation of complexity, overestimation of own capabilities, terrible planning or absence of planning at all, and quite weak game design, quite weak complexity of mechanics and design compared to the modern gaming. And we should be fixing that. Yeah, we should be fixing that because otherwise we are not going to deliver anything meaningful, anything complex, anything big compared to big games in the traditional game development. I mean, I've seen many developers of new metaverses saying, oh, we are going to deliver GTA 5. No, you are not. To deliver GTA 5, you need to be Rockstar. Rockstar as a company and Rockstar as a really highly skilled businessman and game developer and publisher. And you need to deliver 4 previous GTAs before you launch the GTA 5. And again, in many cases of metaverses being in development, I've seen people are saying, oh, we are going to fake it till we make it. We'll do some kind of a nice video, we'll do some kind of a nice demo, and then we will take care about our high-load issues. No, you will not. I mean, whatever money you are going to get through funding, you won't be able to deliver a high-load and very entertaining product if you are not starting to develop it from the very beginning. Because by the moment you get funding, well, you might make promises that you will never be able to fulfill. And this is happening all across the market right now, especially with very new metaverses. And yeah, of course you can't make a game without developers. People who are coming to the market as solution providers at the moment, saying, oh yeah, we've been working on this metaverse, we've been working on that metaverse. They're usually just snake oil, selling snake oil. They've never worked on anything viable, anything material, and you're just going to spend your money on those people that just riding on the wave of hype. Hire professionals, listen to professionals, and this way you might deliver something massive, as in massive online games, for example. And that's going to be the very last slide. Sorry if I took too much of your time on negative thoughts. At the moment, a lot of big brands are coming into the metaverses and Web3 and ecosystem. I'm happy about it, but for some reason, and the reason is probably the stigma that we have on the whole crypto industry, big gaming brands are not coming there. This basically means we need to approach them. We need to start talking to them. We need to help them to enter and help them to avoid mistakes that they've made already, like Ubisoft, because right now they are only, even if they're entering the Web3 space, they're only growing the stigma of crypto being bad. That's it. Thanks a lot. I'm ready for your questions, if we have any.
I'm afraid we don't quite have time, unless... I'll tell you what, we'll do one question. If we got any questions? There's a question. Hang on 1 second. Let's take it.
Hi there. I was wondering if you say a lot of these companies out there never really done anything in the metaverse or just pretended to, how can we make sure to actually differentiate between the ones that have the experience and the expertise and those who don't?
Good question. To interview their developers, actual engineers, actual designers and artists. Because what I've observed in many cases while looking for solution providers for our product, for GameSpot product, people are saying that we've been working on this and that. When you are starting to talk to their actual developers, they're pretty weak and they had no experience in using, let's say, Unreal Engine, when they pretend that they've been using Unreal Engine. So you need to interview their staff, not management, not business development, actual developers.
Great stuff, thanks. Nice warm round of applause for Alexander, please. So, if you're going to do the next GTA, you probably need, it sounds like a story behind FTX right now. That could well be the solution. Get